Hey, Bloodworth here. This segment is cut out from the Easy Allies podcast, which we record every week. You can catch full episodes on Sunday mornings, or if you become a patron at $5 and up, you can get early access and get those on Fridays. Thank you and enjoy. Like a Dragon,
dude.
Infinite Wealth is here.
Yeah.
Both of you have played it. I don't have anything prepared. You guys, gush, go for it. What's going on with this game?
It is amazing. That is the first thing. It is. You probably are aware. This franchise have been feeling the
We don't
fatigue.
need headphones now either.
I've been feeling the franchise fatigue with Yakuza over the years because there's just been so many of them, and they're so similar in their presentation. You know, the similar beats. You know, all the way down to the side stories where it's like, from goofy to really sentimental to, you know, violent. It's just like, it was taking its toll on me, you know, and especially after 6, you know, it kind of felt like this natural end point. And then I liked 7, but I wasn't too hot on it, so I was like kind of dipping down. Infinite Wealth has brought me back all in. This game is so good. I think the Hawaiian setting, I really underestimated how much that was going to change the vibe and the tone, because like you're still doing a lot of the same stuff, but the way the characters are, like Ichiban and Kazuma, are just like kind of fish out of water. I just really am enjoying the change of setting and the change of pace, and the change of pace especially too, because this is an epic and they go really in on like small scale stuff. I mean, there's whole big arcs where like you're not really getting into that many fights in the storyline, you know, just obviously when you're running places and doing stuff, but like I'm just getting this Shenmue vibe of like doing mundane like day-to-day stuff. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with it.
I'm really enjoying it too. I think, and I really like the Yakuza series as a whole. I think is a flawed series in a lot of ways, and I think one of the constants of the Yakuza series is that they are very bad at learning from kind of their mistakes. And I feel like this game absolutely learns from the mistakes of the previous game.
Dude, the freaking RPG mechanics in this are so good.
The combat is much better. It's much smoother. There's ways to like, you know, instantly end battles against weaker foes. I don't remember if that was in the previous game.
I don't think so.
But that's like a huge you know, benefit to the game.
Yeah, that's actually one of my questions, because it's like, I know like a lot of people got fatigue out of that battle system with how long that last game was.
Yeah, and I think the best thing that it does is it gives you level recommendations every time you're about to go into a
like
big fight.
Yeah.
And it eliminates the problem of having to grind up an absurd amount in order to meet those level gates.
Yeah.
At least so far that I've played, I'm on like chapter 10, and I've heard from our reviewer that he never experienced anything. Like chapter 12 of Like a Dragon was notorious.
Yeah.
There's no RPGs that I can think of where I remember the specific chapter, everything that happens in it, but I do, and not in a good way.
I was so nervous that in this, right when I started and I got some like XP boosting gear, I was like, I gotta equip that right now.
Yeah.
Like I'll take the penalty to my stats. I need that.
Yeah, and like the result of that, it's a much more leisurely
That's
pace.
what I said.
Leisurely
leisurely pace
Oh, hey.
is my number one quote about this
We
game.
might be the same person, actually.
Yes.
But yeah, you're able to take it at a leisurely pace because you're not worried about constantly being underleveled for, you know, whatever happens. The battles, while they're not super difficult, they're still engaging and fun because of the ways you're able to maneuver around the environment and pick your spots so that you knock an enemy into another enemy, or like, you know, knock an enemy into your ally and then, like ping pong the enemy back and forth. It's just like super satisfying. It's super rewarding, and it feels good.
And for a really long time too, you know, I love economies. I would like money is tight early on. It takes a while to get to that spot where you have like unlimited. You know, Yakuzas do that quite a bit. Like later on, you can get so much, but also too the difficulty, because sometimes I would go down just like an alleyway, you know, off the beaten path, and all of a sudden there's like the purple enemies. You know, enemies are color coded, so if you see the blue ones, you can just like you do a smackdown and then it like kills them all basically in one hit.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you'll see like purple enemies or the red enemies that have like a crown on them, and if you beat those, it can unlock like an area they're guarding where you can find more stuff
and like kind of safe.
Yeah, and like that's how I really like playing Yakuza. I was like, do all this side stuff, explore. So it's really fun for a long time early on, just getting in like pretty hardcore fights. So I was like, dude, I'm like, I like died a couple times that I was not expecting. So
and then they take a lot of your money.
They take they take a lot of your money. So I was like, I'm like really into that. And then I assume the end game, like every Yakuza, will be like, then you got to grind for you know some of those like tournament arcs and some other things that really make you grind for that optional stuff.
Yeah, and what I really like about this game is it's also not afraid of you being overleveled. Like, there's no level requirements for gear. If you have the money, you can buy like the most powerful weapon for your character right out of the gate. Yeah, which I think is like really refreshing. And you know, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. And if you do that, you probably aren't going to have enough money to equip the rest of your party. So there's like interesting decisions you have to make with your limited funds. There's stores all over the place that each have a different inventory that are kind of, you know, meant for different jobs. Yeah. And the job system in general is really, really satisfying.
So fun.
I love, oh my God, the cutscenes that play before you get a job are so good. If you don't want to know about it, cover your ears. But there's like a samurai job that you can get, and the way you get it is you basically go to this like travel agency that signs you up for these activities that you can do around Hawaii, and one of them you go on like a trolley ride. And you're watching these two kids fight with cardboard things, and you go by a sign that, you know, there's like a shadow that makes it so that there's a samurai top knot on the guy's head, and Ichiban's just like, oh, that's it. And he goes into this like funny like compilation of Ichiban becoming a samurai. Yeah, and it's just so good. The way that they've woven jobs into this game in a way that's different from how they did in the previous game is just so smart.
Absolutely. I promise not to spoil any story stuff, but I do want to talk about just the vibes of it. I promise I won't spoil you. Do not worry. Just Kazuma being in your party as like a supporting character is extremely refreshing. I mean, obviously he's driving like a bunch of the plot, but it's still Ichiban's game. Ichiban's taking the lead, so just having Kazuma as a supporting character is incredible.
But how does that gameplay work? Because they talked about like him being on like his own battle system differently, or
not really.
Okay,
he's still on the turn-based battle system. Later on, there is a mechanic that's introduced where you do get to do the classic Yakuza style of, you know, free control, but it's only for a limited amount of time.
Got it.
It's like, you know, a super move basically.
Yeah. But then having these new cast members also join in, like, so many great characters in this franchise, but like right out of the gate, just character joining these two legends, you know? So you have like Ichiban and Kazuma and then this other character, and just the way that they are part of that crew. It's like, dude, you are with these two legends. So just like the dynamics of the party is really, really fun and satisfying.
I really like the dynamic of Ichiban and Kiryu because I love our review done by Tristan. He like describes Ichiban like the best I've ever seen him be described. It's like Ichiban is the human personification of a golden retriever.
Yeah, 100%. Just like a big puppy dog.
He's just like this big puppy dog who just always sees the good in people, always, you know, wants to do right by people. Yeah. And it's just, he's such a comforting person to be around. And then you have Kiryu, who's also a really, really good person, but he's good in a completely different way.
Totally. And he's punished.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot.
Yeah. And it's just a really, really interesting dynamic to have like both of these characters that I love so much. And, you know, Kiryu's been a part of the Yakuza series for who knows how long at this point.
2005.
And it's kind of crazy how like Ichiban is the new kid on the block. Yeah. And even in moments where like I'm following Ichiban's story and not Kiryu's, like I'm not missing Kiryu.
Yeah.
And in the parts where I'm following Kiryu, I'm not missing Ichiban. It's a really impressive balance that they've managed to hit here of having these two really strong characters and not having the Snake and Raiden situation where like, oh God, I'm playing as Raiden. When do I get to play as Snake again?
Yeah, because Ichiban was awesome in the last one, but he was still a new character. Now it's familiar. You have that connection already if you went through 7, and and he's just so much more confident. The writing, everything about it, just
Are you playing English dub or
Japanese?
Japanese.
Yeah.
I actually think the English dub is really good. I think, shout out to Keiji Tang. He does such a phenomenal job as Ichiban. Just like the energy that he puts into this character. Well, like even when you're like doing karaoke and you're doing like the spirited, claps or whatever.
Oh my God.
And like he's reacting to the lyrics of the song. And like there's like a lyric that says like, and then I left you on the beach, and he's like, how dare you? It's so good. He's so unhinged in like the best possible way.
And just I said how like the Hawaiian setting is different. That goes like I just trying to like dance around everything. Basically, I just get like Foot Clan vibes from the gangs in this game now. Just the whole vibes are different because of what has happened in the previous games.
Right.
Some huge ramifications, and now we're kind of in the aftermath of that. So yeah, there's just it feels so different than the last couple Yakuzas, which I am really enjoying. But all that familiar stuff is there. The way every single system feeds into itself. You've got, the bonds and eating food and all the side quests, and those give you rewards. Like every single thing you do matters to something else one way or the other. Like they have perfected that so hard. So they just like, these games are like you compulsively just want to do everything. You just want to 100% it.
Yeah.
And a huge shout out to the bonds. They say bonds 50 million times more than Kingdom Hearts.
This is like, Bonds the game.
There is a fucking Bonds bingo card, dude.
Heck yeah.
You go around like getting in optional conversations with your party members, and it'll fill in a legitimate Bond bingo card. And if you line those up, you get like a mega Bond boost.
It's just so funny.
Ridiculous. And the crazy taxi minigame, like you were saying, and what other minigames were there? There's like the
with the party members, because I really didn't play that much of the
Sujimon,
last one.
I'm not a big fan of Sujimon, but yeah.
I'm wondering, like,
Pokemon Snap.
Is like, do you get them all kind of like as part of the main quest, or are there like a lot of optional characters?
It's like story beats.
Story beats, yeah. Is anyone like standing out that you want to? Any shout outs, any side characters?
I mean, I'm obsessed with someone, but I don't want to like color people's expectations.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been following the trailers, you probably know who the party members are. But if you have not been following them, it is kind of a spoiler to talk about who the party members are.
Yeah, I don't really want to go into that.
Got it.
But there's like a new person that I am just obsessed with. So yeah, and I'm just loving it.
Does it start with a T or does it start with a C?
T.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen a few people say it's their actual favorite in the series. Like huge fans.
I mean, Like a Dragon was my favorite in the series, just because.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Ichiban Kasuga.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love that puppy of a man.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
He's just such a likable character, and what I will say, we've been talking a lot of really positive elements of Infinite Wealth. One negative that I will say is that while the story is a lot more lighthearted, it is, it is
Shenmue vibes.
It is Shenmue vibes, the game. I'm not quite. It doesn't have the same kind of story hook that the first game had, because the first game really was this origin story of this new character, and it was really compelling. Every chapter felt like it ended with some sort of cliffhanger that made me want to jump into the next chapter immediately. I haven't really gotten that from this game. The main quest.
That's why I like it more, though.
All right.
Seriously, because it's so character driven, and like these are always character driven games, but it's like, God, they go into the characters.
They do.
Like doing like slice of life stuff in the main scenario instead of like rushing from one Yakuza boss to another, to the crooked cops, to all this other stuff. Like, I just love how it just takes its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you are a fan of Kiryu, like this game, the way it honors Kiryu as a character is just utterly incredible.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a game have so much adoration for a legacy character like Kiryu. And it pays off long-time knowledge incredibly well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to make him cry.
Seriously. Seriously. You're going to make me cry, yeah. Yeah. The game is amazing.
You mentioned, though, you're working on that guide. What about this
Dondoko Island?
Yeah.
So it's if you've watched the trailer, you'll know that there's kind of like an Animal Crossing-esque survival kind of game in Infinite Wealth. What you may not know is that it's so insanely deep. Like I spent 15 hours playing this mode. My guide is like 15 minutes long. It's absolutely crazy. Like, so basically you arrive at this trash island, the literal trash island. There's trash everywhere. And the idea is that you turn it from a trash island into a 5-star luxury resort. And you do that by clearing out all the trash, fighting all they're called washbucklers.
Huber loves picking up trash, by the way.
There's a lot of trash in this game.
There's so much trash.
Like when you're just cruising down the street, there's like so many things to pick up, and you want to pick that shit up. Like you need those supplies. There's just like pick that up, pick that up, pick that up. Literally picking up cigarette butts. Like come on, little too much.
So you have to. It's a survival game basically. So you're hitting trees to get wood, you're hitting rocks to get stone, you're crafting buildings to increase your satisfaction level, you're eventually you get to a point where you invite guests to your island and you have to make sure that they have a good experience, so you're giving them souvenirs, you're giving them gifts. It's just layer after layer after layer after layer, and it's not my favorite thing in the world. I did not like working on it, especially when I had Tekken to play, but I think if you are into that style of game, there's so much for you to do there. Because what I'll say about the Yakuza series in general, they are one of the best series at reusing assets and still making compelling content with those assets.
Yeah.
Third game in 1 year. Isn't that insane?
And what they did with this is they basically just have an asset store of structures and items that you can place you can place in your island, and you want to kind of get all that stuff. You want to have the hostess club from one of the towns that you're in. You want to have the smile burger or whatever. You can get those things. So there's a lot of really compelling content in there. It's just I was burned out from it.
And I always am such a sucker for the side quests of this series because there's story around it, Like
and there is a story around it too. It's
like
cool.
I always want to see that through, like a Dragon Gaiden, just the Akame network, and that tied into like the Fight Club, and that got really hard. Like at the end there, you had to really grind out your supporting roster. But it's like, the Akame is like such an awesome character. She's like one of the main characters in that game, and it's like, I got 100% this to like see how that pays off because it's tied behind, finishing this whole mini game. So, yeah, they've just really honed and mastered all the side stuff and how it all just feeds into each other.
Yeah.
Nice.
Crazy Taxi.
And sicko Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap. There's legit Pokemon Snap, Pokemon, like so many good things.
It's literally called like Sicko Snap.
Yeah.
You just take pictures of weirdos doing weird things in Hawaii.
Yeah. I also really like the Segway thing to get around.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And like you have to like charge it, and that costs money.
Oh,
so
funny.
so like in the beginning, it's like, dude, this is costing me money to use this thing. Like actually, holy crap.
Yeah, I was worried about the size of Hawaii because
It's pretty big.
It's pretty big, and one of the problems I've had with previous Yakuza games is that there's a lot of just running from one area to another area, running back to another area. It's like a lot of ping-ponging. But in what they do really well about the Hawaii map is that there's a lot of interesting things to do while you're just getting from point A to point B. There's all kinds of different shops that you can go to that might have a new weapon for a new job.
Cozy.
There's Sujimon stuff that you can, if you are into that, you could, develop that out. There's, like you said, there's those battles with the people with the crowns on their head.
Those
kind
are fun.
of are guarding
like mini
safes.
bosses, basically.
Yeah. There's just so much stuff that you can get that improves your character that it's very compelling to just walk from one area to another.
For sure. Also, I just got back from Hawaii, and it is like insane how recognizable some of these spots are.
Right.
Like my hotel was it's identical. It's eerie. It is eerie how similar it felt. Right down to like, there's a stairwell down to a restaurant right there in that spot. Like,
what island is it on?
It's Honolulu.
Honolulu,
right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Do they
I'm going
have
to Kauai next month?
Is
Nice.
the Anaconda shopping district an actual place?
That I don't remember.
Okay.
No, yeah. But like like the main like beach there, like, and it's like Kona. I think they call it Kona Street in this. Is like right where I stayed, and it looks so damn similar. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.